What a beautiful view.
Yes.
What a beautiful backdrop. Sorry?
Welcome to Helsinki.
Spoiler, we're in Helsinki. Could you
Sorry.
tell us, where are we at?
We are in Helsinki, Finland, near the Arctic Circle in the Northern Europe.
At the background?
And we're at Audi Library, so this is the central library, one of my favorite places, and kind of the city's living room, as well as the library.
I love that. A city living room. Hello, everyone. This is Robin. Welcome you to the Good Place podcast. For those who are new, the Good Place podcast is interviewing citizens from around the world, global citizens. And whenever they sit next to me on a public bench, we're going to have a conversation about place and about life, and a good place in a physical sense, but also in life in general. I did a shout out on Instagram asking, hey, I'll be in Helsinki. Who's up for meeting me and sitting next to me on the bench? And then you referred to me. After that, you also reached out. Hannah, next to me, from Australia. First question is that, why Helsinki?
Good question. I've been asked this a few times since I moved here, but I married my husband in 2016 and I knew I wanted to travel the world with him at some point before we had kids or settled down, so to say. So we took 4 months off work and packed an around the world ticket and traveled all over the world, many countries, many cities. We went crazy. And we visited Helsinki for 4 days. And of all the places we visited, something about the city just stuck with me.
Wow.
And it's funny because I don't think Helsinki is really globally on the map as like a place that really captures people's hearts like other cities do. But yeah, there was something about it. And I kind of became obsessed with the city. I started following lots of creators from there, reading books from here. And then a few years later, I was pregnant with my first child, and I thought, what a perfect time to think about relocating and moving abroad, which is very counterintuitive to other people's experience, I think, but it felt right for me. And I accepted a job in the Middle East, but something just wasn't sitting right in my gut about that. And I thought, gosh, I would just love to move somewhere like Helsinki. And I knew I wanted to work in aviation, so I looked at the airline's website and I found my dream job. And I applied for it and I somehow got it and my dreams started to come true. So that's why I picked Helsinki.
That's quite a life story in a nutshell. But then, of course, I mean, let's not wait for it. I mean, what is that dream job then?
So I have since left that job, but
Oh.
this was like almost 6 years ago. But I have always had a corporate job, but a side hustle as a travel and food journalist. So I kind of liked travel and aviation. So I thought that would be a good way to combine my personal passion with my corporate career. So it was working for Finnair, the national airline here. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it was really cool.
Can imagine. But you left.
Yes.
Why?
This little thing called COVID-19 happened. And I was pregnant with my second kid by then, and yeah, the landscape of aviation had changed. And I think when I had my son, I was kind of ready for a new challenge anyway. So there was a few things at play there, but great company, great team. I'm still friends with lots of my old colleagues
Right.
there. So yeah, it was great. I could travel to Japan and other different places and learn the industry. So it was fun times, but all good things come to an end. So I'm no longer there, but yeah.
A lot of info, of course, but to process. But as well, I need to catch back to the fact that if you've seen the world and you choose Helsinki, then people want to know, like, why? What is it about Helsinki that makes you stay?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think there's the physical place of Helsinki, but there's also the place I was in my life, like becoming a mother. And I think I'm from Brisbane, my husband's from Melbourne, we were living in Sydney. We had good friends in Sydney, but it's a very transient city. So I kind of was evaluating where's the best place to be a working mum, because, I still want to have a career, but I want to be a really present parent. And that doesn't seem possible all over the world, to be honest. But there's lots of press out there about how wonderful the Nordics are with work-life balance. And I think that was always in the back of my mind as well. So I think there was that element of knowing that being a working mum was kind of possible without being really stressed or feeling guilty here. Of course, it does come with a bit of those things, but nowhere near as much as it does in Australia or America, for example. So yeah, there was that place in my life that I was at that felt right to move here. But then the actual place, I kind of say that it's got all the big city amenity, but the small town vibe. So to get from one side of the city to the other doesn't take a lot of time. It's flat. You can cycle. You can connect with nature daily without it affecting. You don't need to commute 2 hours to see some trees. We're sitting in the center of the city and the sea is right there. Right. Yeah. There's swans there. There's squirrels running up and down the trees. So it just felt like all the good things like world-class museums and those kind of things, and the nature. You don't need to kind of pick one or the other here. So yeah.
And who's somebody who's a travel or has been a travel editor, knows those factors pretty well, right? You probably have a sensor for all these different factors in a city. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the most important one to you?
Yeah, I think interesting as well, I used to work in real estate development, so I worked with lots of town planners and architects, so I kind of look at cities through that lens as well, and placemaking and this third space in a city. And I think Helsinki does that really well, like the parks and the museums. The museums are really affordable, if not free, and the parks are amazing, and the libraries like this one, yes, there's books in there, but there's also a play area for kids, there's community events, there's places to study, there's places to just lie and chill out and read a book. So I always look at that as well, thinking about the density of a city. In Australia, people really think the Australian dream is having a big house and having your own pool and your own yard, whereas I think a great city is when a city designs spaces for connection, getting people out of their homes, into the libraries, into the parks, into the museums, to connect with people and to connect with the place, rather than trying to have all of that in your own backyard. So yeah, I always look through it in that lens as well.
It's interesting because that's also why I started Good Place, is why do people live on a mountain? Why is it their good place, or why do they live at the beach, or why in a city center? And yeah, the same as these factors like belonging or social connection, and some people don't care about it, others do, and that's why a good place becomes very subjective. But you see a clear distinction between your life back in Australia versus your life here in Helsinki. Yeah. And are you not able to convince other family members to join you here?
No.
They're not allowed to?
To be honest, if I can be totally honest, I kind of like that I can take all the parts of Australian lifestyle and parenting with me here and kind of adopt all the bits of Finnish culture, and we've kind of made our own family blueprint, I think. So, I love it when family and friends come and visit. It is a long way to come, though, absolutely. And the weather is often not good. Australia's not going anywhere, so we can always visit, they can always visit. But I kind of like that we're forging our own path and kind of creating our own place, both literally and metaphorically. We're kind of going into uncharted territory into this place. And we get to kind of make it our own.
And it's not the first time you're in Helsinki. You left.
Yes.
Why did you leave? And you came back, sorry.
Yeah, so we lived here for 4 years, and for a majority of that time, my husband was working US hours, so he's working for a US company. and we had young kids, and he was working nights, and no one was sleeping at the same time. So it wasn't quite sustainable. And my husband took a huge leap of faith to support me in my dreams to take this job in Finland. We didn't know a single person. We had spent 3 nights here many years ago, and he supported me in my dreams and, wholeheartedly. So it was, I guess, his turn. He wanted to move to America and have a more normal life, and I supported him. So we did that. We moved to America, and we liked it. I wouldn't say we loved it. And in the back of my mind, I always hoped that we would come back here. We have a little cabin here, which we didn't sell. I was just always hoping that it wasn't the end of our Finland book, that maybe it was just the end of one chapter. So, yeah, we came back after 1.5 years. So we've been here for a year now. This is our second stint, and a lot of it's the same. We have the same friends. We live in the same neighborhood. Our kids go to the same childcare. But my mindset is different. Like, having lived in America now, I think I have an even deeper love and appreciation for Helsinki the second time around.
And what's the mindset then? What's the mindset change?
I think I had only really been a parent in Finland, and I knew how good we had it. But then being a parent somewhere else, I realized, no, we have it really good here. It's incredibly safe. I mean, nowhere's perfect, but America, I was always vigilant and on edge, and just the quality of the childcare, the quality of the education, quality of the food, the safety, everything is just better here. And I don't think many Finns realize that, but that's why I try and talk about how great it is here, because I feel grateful.
To all the Finnish watching.
Yeah, it's good here, trust me.
So I want to get to that as well, because most recently Finland was voted, or Helsinki was voted, as number 1 in the Happy City Index.
Yeah.
So why do Finnish then need to be convinced if they think they're number 1 happiest people in the world?
Yeah, it comes to a surprise to all Finnish people. I think it's the 8th or 9th year in a row. And everyone's like, again? Like, how is this possible? I'm like, it is absolutely no surprise to me. I think being Australian, I'm used to seeing people walking down the street going, hey, how are you, mate? You having a good day? And we're smiling.
That's not happening here.
It's not happening here. I think there's this surface level happiness of Australians, and it goes deeper, of course, for many people, but happiness isn't about smiling. I think it's about a level of contentment and safety. And I think just those basics and foundations here. Of course, there's a disparity of wealth and disparity of privilege here, but everyone has a pretty equal footing to have access to some of the world's best education, free university, kids get fed really well here, it's safe. You'll see 8-year-olds walking around the city with, no risk of harm being done. Of course, there are, nowhere's perfect, but I think all those foundational things like safety and food security, having a home, there's no such thing as homelessness here. So all the basics are met to a really good standard. And I think when that's taken away, that's when you realize, oh, I'm anxious, I'm fearful, what's going to happen next? But I think because Finns have probably all grown up with this safety net, they might not realize just how important that is to feel secure, to live your life. So, I think there's lots of systematic things. Then there's the everyday things like connecting with nature. And I think Finns think they're grumpy and antisocial, but they're some of the funniest, friendliest people I've ever met. You just need to make that first move. And
with or without alcohol?
Well, a few long drinks are definitely the friendliest people on earth. Alcohol definitely helps. What I've learned is anytime we've had a gathering or a party, however much alcohol we think we need, we double it, and that should be just enough.
I need to up my drinking skills. Well, I've spent some days here, and I've also noticed that it's also about taking the time for each other.
Yeah.
Not saying you should booze up people to get connection. No,
Yeah.
I really mean that. Yeah, they also need to. They say when they have something to say.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also what I noticed. They are not about small talk or probably like the Dutchies, maybe just filling every void possible, but avoiding the silence of things.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate silence. They love
Yeah.
solitude. They love
Yeah.
to. And I think that's also what I've seen here on public benches, for example. I've seen so many people sitting by themselves, by themselves. So that's also been like a realization. And yeah, you need to also take time to let people connect with people that way. I have with some Finnish people over the last days. And yeah, you start to make a connection.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. I also quickly want to touch back on what you said about parenthood. I'm also, a dad of a young family and everything, and suddenly you are changing your perspective, when it comes to place,
Yeah.
when being a parent. And hearing your story at Helsinki, is that consideration? Is this the best place for my kids?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've traveled a lot with my kids, and really what that means is seeing playgrounds all over the world. So I think you do see it from a different lens, like how I think when I feel like I had a lot more hours in my day before I had kids, and that's not a negative thing per se, but yeah, like time is of the essence. So like how quickly can we get to a place, or like the convenience of the city is really important. I don't want to spend my life in a car or that kind of thing. So there's that factor, but also just the safety and the fun that you can have. Like I think Helsinki's great because it's got beaches, it's got lakes, it's got skiing nearby, it's got playgrounds, and I think I didn't ever have those considerations before I had kids. I just kind of thought, is there good restaurants and bars and that kind of thing? Yeah. So yeah,
You're very consumption driven.
Well, I used to write about food, so I'm a big foodie. I feel like that's a great way to connect with places too, is eating the food. So yeah, when my husband and I traveled or thought about where we wanted to live, it was always about where is good work and where is good restaurants. Whereas now it's more like where is good work-life balance and where is safe for kids. Yeah, where's the quality of life? And I was traveling the past few days for work without my kids, but I kept saying, oh, that looks like a great playground, because like, yeah, you're always on the lookout for the best playground as a parent. I don't know if you feel the same way. Yeah.
I'm thinking of starting a platform around playgrounds.
Yeah. I got some good ones I can share. This one's good. The climbing park is great.
Maybe we should collectively start something.
Yeah.
Where where the best playgrounds, and then we just mine some and pros and cons.
Yeah. I've even been on the one behind us. It's great for your mobility and
Well, you shared it on Instagram.
Yeah, I did.
You said I had more fun than my kids.
Yeah. They were over it by an hour. I was like, let's keep going. And I think that's also too, kids have sort of made me realize like how important play is, not just like for kids, but adults too.
I also, the other day as well, that I realized, you should not be on your phone in the playground. You should make playgrounds phone free. Maybe you have to put them in a little box or something. You can charge them as a reward.
Yeah.
But then go and play with your kids and be present instead of, because I see fellow dads and mothers, swiping or sitting, tired on the bench and while they're playing, especially with older kids.
Yeah.
But I tell myself to be more present. Yeah.
That's good advice.
Yeah. And I had this conversation as well. I mean, last year I was in Valencia, and they even open up bars next to playgrounds because it's such a social thing.
Yeah.
Just drop your kids there, get parents on the terrace drinking.
Yeah.
And then they just hang, factor time is not important.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
More bars with playgrounds.
So then you can write about playgrounds and the bar and food scene.
Passions coming together. I see a business idea here.
So you still write about?
I don't. I've been trying to kind of honor my energy a bit more rather than trying to do everything. And when I moved to Helsinki, it was my first time as a working mum, new culture, new industry, new country, new everything. And so I was like, I'm just going to put a pause on the writing for a while. I've got a lot on my plate. And then COVID happened, so the traveling and stuff wasn't as possible. But I'm still really passionate about sharing travel and food and culture and all those topics that I love. So that's why I have been content creating more.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can do that on my own time. I can grab 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there. So yeah, I'm still exploring those topics that I love, but just in a different format these days.
But it also feels beyond the format that you wanted to make something clear. You want to make a point.
Yeah, I do. I think.
I mean, again, spoiler alert, at Hannah in Helsinki. I mean.
Yes, that's me.
It's quite obvious.
Yeah, I think. Unfortunately, Finland has a reputation sometimes of being a really hard place to integrate, and a place that's really unfriendly for foreigners. But my experience has been totally different. And I think my experience, I mean, I don't want to sound self-important, but I think it's a good thing to share because I want to give other foreigners some hope that if you are having a tough day or it is possible to love Finland as a foreigner. Like I am an example of that. My husband's an example of that. But I'm also real about the challenges as well. I think it's important to keep it real.
Such as?
That it can be hard. Like the language is really tricky. That navigating the healthcare system can be really bamboozling. And I have had some really negative experiences with that. But that's life. But I think my experience overall has been a really good one and continues to be a good one. And I think on the other side, my Finnish followers, both living here and abroad, are like, I've never thought about it this way. I've never seen my own place through this lens that you're providing. So I think it is important to stop and feel grateful and appreciate what you do have. But sometimes you kind of need a different perspective to be able to see that. And I think as an Australian, everyone thinks Australia is full of happiness and sunshine. Like, why would you move here? I'm like, well, Australia's not perfect either. And I don't want to trash can my home country. I do love it. But there's a million reasons why an Australian family would want to live here. And I'm just trying to share why. So yeah, and I just love this. I just love this city. And I've just been asked so many times, but why? And when we moved to Boston, no one asked me why. And I just thought that was so fascinating. So I guess when I moved back, I'm like, well, I'm going to start sharing.
Everybody would move to Boston.
Yeah, I think the American dream, people are like, oh yeah, the American dream. Of course you would want to live there. I'm like, well, I actually much prefer it here. So I thought, what the questions that you get asked are usually where people's curiosities lie. So I thought if I get asked this question all the time, like maybe people would be interested in the answer. And some are, some aren't.
No, I like that. Are you, if we would have this future vision, you see yourself being in Helsinki for quite some time then?
Yeah, I think I've got a typical immigrant story where I'm living visa to visa. So there's, I'm at the behest of the Finnish immigration system, but I don't see any reason why our visa wouldn't get continued next year. We don't yet qualify for citizenship, but I don't know. I would say never. Like there was a point that we were going to move to Ireland at one point. We thought we were going to be in America for longer. So I think any plans we do set, things never go to plan, which is life. So I don't have a set timeline.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I could see myself living here forever. I could see myself moving back to Australia at some point. I could see myself living somewhere else. I don't know. I'm pretty open.
Netherlands?
Oh yes. Well, my husband did live in Amsterdam for a couple of years, and we did have considered living there at some point. So, Yeah, I'm a bit of a dreamer and
Not so much nature.
not so much now. We got the canals. They're clean, right?
Well, good luck. If you like glow in the dark, then you should try it once.
Yeah.
I used to live in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, now it's The Hague. And I also wanted to be closer to nature. But I have to admit, being here over the last few days, yeah, it's different kind of nature.
Yeah.
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 And I've experienced the sauna traditions.
Oh, you can't leave without having a sauna.
I went to the sauna Sari Island.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Recommending. One for your content. Actually, want to do like a good place interview on the Sani Sara Island.
Yeah.
I'll save that for next time.
Nice. Good idea.
No worries, clothes on, everything, but it's nice to be on the island. No sauna sessions, just beautiful sunset, everything.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah. Just to define, what I can imagine you're in a good place, so I'm not gonna ask that question. But how would you define a good place?
I would say if I had to pick one word, it would be feeling at peace or peace. I think that's how I describe why I love being in Finland. I just feel more at peace here. I feel safe and secure. I find Finnish temperament stereotypically quite peaceful. So yeah, it kind of permeates in lots of areas of my life. But also like the internal place I'm at. Like if I am feeling at peace with the decisions I'm making or my routines or how I'm feeling emotionally, peace is the goal. So yeah, I think a good place is a peaceful one.
Such as also a peace of mind.
Yes, yes.
And knowing it can change and you might be somewhere else in, who knows, 5 years, that's also gives you peace.
Yeah.
Instead of being all like, I need to know, I need to know, I need to know.
Yeah, totally.
For everyone considering Helsinki, Hannah, what advice would you give them?
I think I would advise getting a job before you arrive here. I think having that secure would be great. Other advice I would have is embrace the weather. Don't hate it. It's like if you're coming here for sunshine, you're going to be disappointed. So I think you can have two mindsets. You can be like, oh, the weather's always bad. Or you'll be like, the weather is what it is. And I think every type of weather has an opportunity. Don't get me wrong. By the time November rolls around, I'm like, ugh, it's...
And the light. We didn't even talk about the light.
Yeah, it can get pretty dark. However, in Australia, it was always sunny. Sun was always up. And we never hibernated. We were like, go, 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 go. Always up in the morning. I'd be up at 5 a.m. And now I'm like, oh, you can just like rest sometimes. So I think embrace...
Are you promoting hibernation?
Yeah, I'm promoting hibernation. I'm highly introverted too, so I'm like, what? I can stay inside and read my book and not be too social for a few months. Sounds great. So yeah, I would just like have the right mindset. I think that the trope here is like, oh yeah, Finland. There can be a lot of complaining. That you like anyway. You can kind of lean into the complaining part, or you can lean into the like, hey, it's snowing again. We'll learn how to ski. Go snowshoeing. You know, like there's. I didn't really grow up with seasons, so I think embracing the seasons, and also don't be discouraged by Finns not making the first move, because they probably won't, but they will reciprocate eventually. And I think just be confident and brave in making an effort with people that you feel a connection with, and eventually it will pay off, because once you have a friend who's Finnish, they're a friend for life. But they play hard to get a little bit. It is hard to get that initial kind of friendship started, but once you do, it pays off. So that's my advice.
Have you made friends for life?
I have, yeah, I have. The first friends we met here are my son's godparents, and we're the godparents of their son. When we were living in America, we stayed in touch with people. So yeah, even if we might not talk every week or every month or every year for the rest of our lives, I truly believe that they're friends that I will, think of fondly for the rest of my life, for sure.
Do you have some last advice for then the Finnish people?
Any Finnish people?
Helsinki citizens?
Helsinki citizens. If a foreigner reaches out to you with a smile or a hello or a LinkedIn request for a coffee chat, please reciprocate, because it might be a very small thing for you to do, but it will make a huge impact for them. And also, my theory is that Finns think they don't like small talk, but anytime I engage in it, they just yap away. So, just embrace the small talk. I know you all love it a little bit. So, yeah.
Hannah, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and sharing all your insights and observations on this sunny bench in Helsinki. I've been told I've been lucky.
Very lucky.
Maybe I have to redo it, embracing it somewhere in wintertime,
Yeah.
dressed up like an
Big
Eskimo.
coats, yeah.
Although I'm used to seasons, that's the next level. So thanks again for your
you.
time. Appreciate it. Everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed this story from Helsinki on a bench. As you know, everywhere I go, I try to scoop in a conversation on a bench. And I'm happy to have had it with you. Thank you. And I'm a fan of Helsinki immediately. So I'll definitely return with my own family
Nice.
for them to experience the same.
Great.
For everyone watching, please follow, subscribe, like. You know what to do, but please do to stay in touch, and it also will boost the podcast. And looking forward to our next episode on the bench somewhere near you. All the best. Take care. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Ciao.